These no-bake protein energy bars you can make in under 5 minutes with all natural ingredients, and they are great to store in the freezer for a snack or to take on the go. Hence why I call them energy bars. They work really great for a snack or maybe even a pre or post-workout meal. First, you're going to get a large mixing bowl. You're going to add 4 standard scoops of a protein powder of your choice, preferably vanilla, but you could use any flavor you wanted. Next, we're going to go with a half of a cup of coconut flour. When you're in the store looking between brands, make sure you can compare and get the lowest fat or calorie content you can find. This is where these calories come from, the peanut butter. We're going to be using 2 cups for this recipe. I wanted to do extra tasty. I went with the honey roasted peanut butter, freshly ground, and I got this one at Whole Foods. There are a lot of other stores that do freshly ground peanut butter. It does make a difference in flavor and freshness, but you could also just use regular peanut butter. They're all about the same in calorie and fat content. Now we're going to use 1 cup of sugar-free maple syrup. Do yourself a big favor and get the sugar-free kind. It tastes just like the sugar kind, except it doesn't have all those calories. Next, you're going to do 1 cup of chocolate chips. I really like these Lily's brand. They sweeten it with stevia and they use a little bit more cacao. That again saves you on some sugar calories and of course makes the protein bars way more tasty. Next, you're going to use 2 mixing spoons. It's going to be more preferable over your hands because this does get sticky. Stir and mix those ingredients up really well until it's very smooth and combined. Next, you're going to get any size baking sheet that you want and lay it with some parchment paper. Place your mixture over the baking sheet. Now, the whole mixture does not have to cover the entire baking sheet. That's going to depend on how thin or thick you want those protein bars. I knew ahead of time that this recipe was going to make 12 total protein bars. But as you can see here, I left some room on my baking sheet. You're going to see after I put them in the fridge how I cut them into even bars. Oh, and when you're doing this, you will have to use your hands. It's really the only way around it. So my pro tip for that is get your hands slightly wet, just a little bit damp, and that'll keep it from being super sticky all over your hands. Next, you're going to put them in the fridge, or you can do the freezer for at least an hour so that they can set. This will make them easier to cut and divide out. Now, a very simple step here is getting these into 12 equal protein bars. Take a little bit extra time and get a measuring tape. This ensures that the calories and macros that you're consuming from each bar is as accurate as possible. That way, when you're logging and tracking your food, you know you're as close as you can possibly get. So I measure this for that first cut, which is going to be long ways, and I cut it right down the middle. That way I have 2 halves, and then I know I'm going to cut it the other way for 6 rectangles. So very easy. We just measure, divide that number by 6, and then start cutting those individual rectangles. As you can see, I have 12 total homemade protein bars. I decide that I'm going to store these in the freezer, so I get out a container. Make sure you line it with parchment paper. I know it seems like you wouldn't need the parchment paper, but they will stick. It's going to make your life easier. Bam, there you have it. The kids are going to love these for a grab and go snack. Easy to just pop out of the freezer, pack in your lunch, whatever you need to do.